Good morning, boys and girls. Today's objective is going to review the relationships among metric units of length. So we're going to be taking a close look at the metric system. So why do we use the metric system? Well, some reasons are that scientists use it almost exclusively for measurement. So that's one reason why we need to learn it. Most countries of the world use the metric system for measurement. So that's definitely another reason why we need to know it. And many sports statistics are measured in metric units as well. So these are some reasons why we need to learn the metric system. So before we do anything else, let's examine our centimeter ruler. Most commonly when you see a ruler, you'll see two sides with different numbers. You notice this side, number 1 to 30. And the other side of my ruler is 1 to 12. Well, this side, 1 to 12, is inches, because inches are larger than centimeters. So the side I'll be using today and looking at would be the side that measures from 1 to 30 centimeters. A lot of the time you'll notice on the ruler, you'll see mm or cm, which stands for millimeter or centimeter. And on the inches side, often you'll see inches will be labeled as well. So just make sure when you're measuring, you're using the correct side. So today we're going to be using the centimeter side. So when I examine my centimeter ruler, again, I notice it's 1 to 30. I'm noticing there are long lines next to the numbers, and then there's a lot of little lines in between the numbers. Well, 1 centimeter measures, if I'm measuring 1 centimeter on my ruler, I need to start at the very first long line, not at the edge of the ruler. That is an often mistake people make. You need to start at the very first long line when measuring. So from the very first long line to the very second long line, where the 1 is, that would be 1 centimeter. If I measure to 10 centimeters, again, starting at the very first long line, all the way up to the number 10, that would be 1 decimeter. A decimeter is 10 centimeters. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later. Now, here are some symbols that you're going to have to know for metric units. mm stands for millimeter, cm stands for centimeter, dm stands for decimeter, and m stands for meter. So we're going to talk a little bit about the relationships of millimeters, centimeters, decimeters, and meters with the next page. So what I would like right now is for your teacher to display a meter stick for you. So as they hold that meter stick up, please take a look at it. And we're going to go over some conversions based on the meter stick. Now, 1 whole meter, which is the meter stick your teacher is showing you right now, is 100 centimeters. So in 1 meter, there's 100 centimeters. Okay? Now let's take a look. I'll just cover some up. 1 centimeter on the meter stick, or even a regular ruler, as you can see right here, I have 1 centimeter. That is 10 millimeters. Now if you look, there are 10 little lines from the first long line to the 1. That is millimeters. Each of those is 1 millimeter, and 1 centimeter has 10 millimeters. 1 whole meter stick, the one that your teacher is showing you now, has 1,000 millimeters. So 1,000 of those little lines are on 1 meter stick. Now 1 decimeter, which I showed you earlier, is 10 centimeters. So from this first line all the way up to 10, that is 1 decimeter. Now 1 whole meter stick, again the one the teacher is holding in front of you now, has 10 decimeters, because there are 10 sets of 10 in 100 centimeters, which is what a 1 meter ruler holds. So 1 meter equals 10 decimeters. Now, here's our conclusion based on some of those conversions we just talked about. Each metric unit is 10 times greater than the next smaller standard unit. So for example, 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. Again, here's 1 centimeter, okay? In 1 centimeter, there are 10 millimeter lines. 1 decimeter, which is 1 to 10 here, is 10 centimeters. And then 1 whole meter stick has 10 decimeters. So knowing all of these conversions, let's do some practice. Let's practice these conversions. So let's take a look at 3 meters. 3 meters is 3 of those meter sticks that the teacher in your classroom has showed you. Now each 1 meter has 100 centimeters, because we already talked about that conversion. That 1 meter, right here, 1 meter has 100 centimeters. So let's think 3 meters would then have how many centimeters? Please turn and talk to your partner now. Okay, good. If you and your partner said 3 meters equals 300 centimeters, then you are correct. Again, if 1 meter has 100 centimeters, then that means 3 meters would be 300 centimeters. Okay, let's try another one. 8 decimeters equals how many centimeters? Now again, if I look at my conversion here, 1 decimeter is 10 centimeters. So if we have 8 decimeters, how many centimeters would you have? Please turn and talk to your partner. Okay, if you said 8 decimeters has 80 centimeters, you are correct. Because again, every 1 decimeter is 10 centimeters. So if we have 8 decimeters, we will have 80 centimeters. Okay, last conversion we're going to try. 90 millimeters equals how many centimeters? Now think to ourselves, if each centimeter has 10 millimeters, then 90 millimeters equals how many centimeters? Turn and talk to your partner. Okay, if you said 90 millimeters, remember there's 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter, 90 millimeters is 9 centimeters, then you are correct. Now, you are going to be working on a workbook page, page 96. Your teacher will choose several objects to measure that you will work on. So once your teacher has given you the objects that you are measuring, you can begin that work with your partner. Before you do that, I quickly want to talk about tonight's homework. Because tonight for homework, you're going to be changing centimeters to meters. Now remember, centimeters are part of 1 whole meter. So when you make these conversions, they're going to be into decimals. Because if one centimeter, if I was changing 1 centimeter into a meter, 1 centimeter is actually 1/100th of a meter. Because again, there's 100 centimeters in a meter. So when I do these conversions, I have to keep in mind their answers are going to be decimals. okay? Because centimeters are part of 1 whole meter. So based on this conversion, 1 centimeter equals 1/100th of a meter. If I know this already, I'm going to apply this to these 3 answers. So when I look at 7 centimeters, my answer would be 7/100ths of a meter. If I'm looking at 8 centimeters, 8 centimeters equals 8/100ths of a meter. And finally, if I'm looking at 13 centimeters, 13 centimeters equals 13/100ths of a meter. I wanted to do this part to help aid in tonight's homework in case you needed some extra help or some examples before you do the study link tonight. Okay, boys and girls. Now you may begin your partner work at your seats.